Fuzzy Wuzzy's account review time. Guys, I'm hoping this account is pretty relatable to a lot of you. I think it may actually be. 10 million player power. I'd say it's probably late game, maybe like late mid-game. It's kind of a weird classification. You guys can let me know where you think down below whenever you get enough information to decide that. But we're working on Ramen 2 missions, getting to Silver 4. Definitely can do that. Marius missions, progressing. Obviously, it's going to be a little while before we finish them, but he's doing a lot of the content. So I have this account sheet right here, this review sheet. I'm going to try to remember to leave one link down below, a blank one, in case you guys want to fill one out for your own account. But this is the information. So dungeons, this is all the breakdown. We're doing pretty high stages on everything. The Fire Knight's the only one we're not doing max. Sorry, Fire Knight and Sand Devil we're not doing max, which is to be expected. Though Sand Devil, we could get to max stage. It's not going to be easy because we don't have Godseeker plus Ninja. We're missing the Godseeker key, but it's okay. We can figure something out there possibly. Now, for Faction Wars is finished, farming very high stages. With that said, this may or may not be something you guys are interested in, but you do have presets here. Go set them up if you want. You don't have to, but it will speed the runs up a little bit. Very easy to do. Just throw some stuff in there. It takes a little bit of time, but it's not too big of a deal. If you want to do it, save yourself some time. It's separate presets from everywhere else in the game. Just something to keep in mind if you didn't already know that. So Fuzzy Wuzzy, if you got time, maybe set them up. So he's finishing all Faction Wars, very good. Has Lydia, farming high stages. Arena, he's in Gold 5. 3v3, Silver 3. We have a level 159 Great Hall, which is really not that bad. We'd love to see it progress more, but I mean, that's just going to happen in time. The Great Hall is not really something you can rush unless you're a massive whale with a bunch of time. It's just not something that comes super quick. It takes a lot of time, a lot of grinding in the arena. The best thing you can do is have a really good, fast team that just clears people out. Also, throwing a one-man defense in, it's going to help you out some as well. You could even throw in a one-man defense that's like a champion who's a little bit weaker. His Arbiter is actually in Swift Parry, so they don't know that when they enter the fight, but it's kind of annoying. If you throw in a champion like this, more players are going to hit you. It'll keep you lower. As long as you're staying up to date on your attacks, then you're going to be fine. You're also going to get matched with players who are lower, which if you look at the tiers, Gold 5 and Gold 4, they give the exact same medals per win. So there's no difference other than the extra HP attack and defense boost and the Magisteel boost. There's no difference between Gold 4 and Gold 5 as far as farming. So even if you decay into Gold 4, it's okay. And his forging, he has plenty of Magisteel as it is, which I do suggest him forging a bunch of perception stuff. We have 100 speed charms, perception, or even just resilience and just sell that. Get yourself some silver. Now, as far as the other areas, this fastest possible champion's 389, which I'm going to talk about that in a moment because she is not 389 currently. The Arbiter is sitting at 345. I think there's some things that need to be changed, which I guess is the whole point of this review, that will make huge differences in his account. He has a lot of options for offense and defense in the arena. Clan Boss looks great, one keying everything. We have a Wixwell team going on. Hydra is looking good, but he wants a little more information on that, which I'm going to jump in there and talk about this. Hopefully get him set up to a one key everything. Ideally, what the goal for me is to give him some stuff, give him the keys to take, and have a one key full auto Hydra on all difficulties, give him the ideas to actually build the teams, and then he can actually do that. And then he can use his best gear on his arena champions to start pushing higher in 3v3, doing more in live arena, doing more in just classic arena, working towards a Great Hall, because the area bonuses in live arena, which kind of stem off of 3v3 and all that kind of stuff as well. Basically, the champions you're building for 3v3 are probably going to be built and used in your live arena stuff as well. But Hydra battles, Fire Knight specific, or potentially, not specifically, but Fire Knight potentially, and then Curse City. Curse City, investing in this stuff is a very big help because sometimes you have champions who are like epic champions who you really don't want to put the craziest gear on, but you could get some speed on them, maybe get an extra 10, 12 speed, a little extra crit damage as well. And it makes a pretty big difference. Accuracy and resistance being a big one as well. So Curse City is something I enjoy putting things into. Hydra, of course, if you're pushing high numbers, this is going to be massive. The ignore defense aspect is especially going to be huge. And then from there, Curse City is one that you can just push stats really high. There's no like speed tuned teams necessarily. But these other areas, you can easily break your speed tunes or mess it up if you're not intentional about it. Now, Fire Knight is a good one that's pretty stat demanding. But if you have a team running, I wouldn't stress it necessarily too much. For example, my team, I have built them with these stats, but I actually had to break one of my teams because I had so much speed invested that my Newt had to be like 230 speed to actually be tuned with the team correctly, but I wanted to use him in other content at like 260 plus speed. So I had to redo my entire Fire Knight team because I invested in the speed here. At the time, it made sense, but now I just don't need that. And unfortunately, you can't take away these bonuses once you get them. So just be careful with boosting speed-tuned areas. The speed-tuned areas being Ice Golem, Fire Knight, Dragon, your dungeons, your clan boss. Doom Tower is not really that specific of speed tunes. I wouldn't invest in it anyways, though. Iron Twins, I wouldn't. Clan boss, very, very sketchy to do so. Hydra, there's really no speed tunes here because the Head of Mischief is going to be messing it all up anyways. Sand Devil, speed tune. Phantom, Shogun's Grove, speed tune. Curse City, no speed tunes. That's my opinions there. But Live Arena, the more you grind it, the more you're going to fill out. And it's just going to help your account in general. Now, moving through here, the bosses to farm, Scarab King or Nether Spider. Either one of those is good. Honestly, even Frost Spider. They're all fine for the Frost Spider rotation. Having some Frostbite gear can be really cool. Though Scarab King with the Immortal, or the Untouchable set, that immunity is pretty nice as well. Plus some resistance if you want to go for that build. But it's really up to you. If you need some Affinity Breaker, go Nether Spider. It may get used some more, but I honestly never use Affinity Breaker. To be fair, I don't use Frostbite or Scarab King gear either. So I'm not using any of it. So it's really just up to you. Griffin on Eternal Dragon is a set I actually use, which is the Guardian set. And then last rotation, Dark Fae. Farm Dark Fae. You have to farm Dark Fae. Dark Fae drops the best Doom Tower gear flat out. Farm it. You may think about doing Bommel. Don't do it. Dark Fae is the way. Now, as far as the Doom Tower fragments go, this is his breakdown, what he currently has. So not a ton of focus in Doom Tower. Honestly, not a huge deal. Other than Varl, the rest of them aren't that great. He already has the good epic champions, basically. Nobody else here is really somebody you're going to be looking forward to getting. Now, the suggestions is what we're going to go over in just a moment. Let's look at the gear, and then this should give you guys a pretty good idea of, hey, where do you think this player is as far as in the game progression? I think he's early game, mid game, late game, or end game. I'm going to say late, mid game, or early, late game. Somewhere right around there, because he's doing all the content, basically. He's doing one key and everything, but not necessarily doing Chimera, not necessarily pushing the highest in Hydra, not min-maxing his areas, not speedrunning content, doesn't have Marius, doesn't have Ramen 2, not at the top levels of the arena. So I say somewhere, as I mentioned, is where he'd fall. Now, as far as his artifacts, this is another thing that leads me to that late game / mid game area is a lot of 5-star gear still. We have a lot of 5-star, good chunk of 6-star stuff too, though. Same thing with accessories, a lot of 5-star. Now, accessories, if these are a bunch of 5-star pieces from Spider, that's not good. We just get rid of those. Honestly, Spider pieces 5-star is just basically trash because there are so many of these 9-piece sets that are so much better. You're just going to use those. Even the reaction pieces are better. So all the Spider stuff honestly could just be a sell. So that's going to be quite a bit of pieces, probably 100 or 200 plus pieces just from Spider selling those. And then the other pieces, I'd be very careful with keeping them. Like the ring and the necklace, assuming you have the, say, a ring, necklace, and banner for all the factions, whether it's the 5-star or 6-star, after that point, you can start cleansing these pretty hard because we want to move into 6-star pieces as soon as possible. We're getting so many accessories from so many areas. We have the event dungeon, which honestly, Pinpoint has kind of made Spider accessories even more irrelevant. We also have Hydra, where you're getting the protection plus stone skin, which is huge. There's very few situations, honestly, where you're using Spider accessories. Even the banners. Now, the banners are the place where I do keep Spider accessories because you could have a banner like this that quad rolls into speed or even double rolls into speed. Maybe you don't have many banners with speed. That is a different story. That is where I actually do keep the pieces more frequently, looking for those double roll and higher banners with speed. But these other pieces, they're more easily replaced, honestly, with those nice 9-piece set bonuses. So for him, it's a pretty easy work to just come in here and cleanse just 200 pieces right off the bat, not a problem. And then, of course, going into the artifacts, very similar thing here. The artifacts here that are from the dungeons that have been in the game for a long time, 5-star, basically not needed. So speed, potential for a quad roll, but if it's a epic piece, basically just sell it. Crit rate, crit damage, 5-star pieces get rid of, accuracy get rid of, perception is just so much better. Cursed possibly keeping for your Hydra. Hydra. If your Hydra is in a good shape though, you can just get rid of the 5-star pieces. Regeneration, if you have your farmers done, regeneration is going to be Not very useful at 5-star unless it's like a quad roll speed, possibly. But in general, your regeneration gear is going on your solo champions, and you're going to need really good stats to solo those really high stages. Shield set, make sure you have some shield sets, but other than that, just sell it. Relentless, you can keep some, but a lot of it's going to be trash just because the stats are lower. And if you're pushing high content at this point of the game, maybe not where you're at in the game, but in this point of the game, most of that's just going to be sold. Savage, possibly being kept if it's a really good piece, but in general, just going to be selling that. Stun, provoke, once again, if you have some sets, which at this point he does, basically all of this could be sold. Retaliation, very few pieces you're actually going to use. Stalwart, basically just selling that. Cruel, be very strict with it. Basically anything else that's not just an instant sell, you're going to be very strict with. Divine Speed, I'm looking for like triple speed rolls on these pieces in order to consider keeping them. Perception, similar thing. We're looking for double speeds, at least with some accuracy in this case. But in general, it's going to be, hey, we're looking for triple speed rolls to actually consider keeping it. This could be a decent piece. We have double speed roll there. Triple speed roll, that's a keep. Now, a lot of these pieces are probably just going to be a sell, though. But then you look at these protection, stone skin, merciless, supersonic. Could those other pieces be used if they roll well? Yes. But keeping those pieces means that you are going to fill your inventory space sooner, and you won't be able to keep these pieces. While 5-star merciless, supersonic, protection, and stone skin is not as good as 6-star, of course, these pieces can go in your Cursed City champions. It could go on a specific Hydra build. It can go on specific arena builds, maybe Chimera. These pieces could fill in the gaps for you. And then you could eventually work up to the 6-star pieces without a doubt. And you should be doing that. But especially for Cursed City, 5-star pieces can easily fit on these champions. Matter of fact, any of your 5-star pieces could fit on your Cursed City champions. Cursed City is like the new Faction Wars where your extra gear can just go in your Faction War champions and you're going to be fine. But now it's Cursed City and you got to build a lot more champions. Of course, they're going to do better if they're built to be strong with 6-star pieces. Just honestly, guys, in simplicity, cleanse your 5-star gear very harshly, especially if you already have Lydia. If you already have Lydia and most of your champions are in builds already, be super strict with your 5-star stuff. This graph should just be a sliver of 5-star pieces, and right now, it is way out of whack, basically. This is predominantly 5-star pieces in the accessories, and then for the artifacts, I would much rather have at most a quarter of them being rank 5, but ideally, much less being rank 5, basically. So just a little sliver of this pie being rank 5. So dungeon priority, what I recommend him farming is more Fire Knight. The event dungeon is very much worth it to farm. Pinpoint is so good, even though you don't get very much of it, it is worth farming. And he's very close to stage 30. I think he could do stage 30. Does he have Geo? He does. Shamel? He does. Maneater? I don't know. Maybe he doesn't. Let's see. Do we have any unkillable champion? Buffs. Block damage. Or 2-turn AoE. Yeah, we have Roshkard. He'll be fine. Newt, we have him. Yeah, so he could do this stage, no problem. 28, 29, and 30. Now, with that said, Roshkard will need 4-piece supersonic, which won't be difficult to do, honestly. You don't need the accessories. I mentioned this in the video, but I think a lot of people missed it. You could just go 4 pieces here. So as long as he could get to 263 speed, I think it is, then he'll be fine. 263 with 4 pieces of stone skin. He can do stage 30 of the event dungeon. Just climb up there, get that farming. This is going to be good for you because what this does is the pinpoint gear is fantastic, but the pinpoint accessories is going to help your champions get higher speeds easily. I mean, take a look at this. Arbiter, just get rid of these spider accessories, throw them into pinpoint, and now boom, you instantly have an extra 13 speed just from those 2 accessories. You still have your banner slot to get more speed, but you just pulled speed from somewhere that there was no possibility other than set bonuses of getting speed from. That is the easiest, quickest, biggest win for speed champions there is, period. Getting good pinpoint stuff. Now, of course, if you get 3 pieces down here, 1 piece up here, now you're going into different high-end builds. That's even better for your account. So the event dungeon is great, and especially since it's limited, it's very much worth dumping some energy into here. Now, of course, going for the fusion, you're going to want to focus on Ice Golem right now, Dragon during the Dragon tournament, all that kind of stuff. But outside of those, if there's a dungeon diver that lines up tomorrow, well, maybe there's no tournaments you need to go for. Dump your energy into the event dungeon. That's where you should be spending right now, or Fire Knight. Fire Knight's a very good next best option. The reason why I say that is because, and I do have a comment down here at the bottom, Slayer set works on AoE champions. When looking through your gear, I noticed that you really like the Slayer set, which is good. I mean, I like the Slayer set a lot as well, but it's a little bit misleading. So you have it on your Thor, but it doesn't work on Thor the way you may think it does. It's not the worst set on him, but I'll show you how you can check to see if it works. Also, your clan emblem is pretty cool. I like that star with a little blood dripping. It looks a little dark, but I do like it. Very, very creative. I like that star on top. Now, with Thor, I want to show you how you can tell if something is, if the Slayer set's working or not. So what we're going to do is we're going to use his A3. You're going to see turn meter boost times 5 right there. 5x turn meter boost on the A3. Do one more time. 5x turn meter boost. Easy. So his A3 does work. It's getting the decrease. It's getting the defense ignore, all that kind of good stuff. But the A2, do the AoE hit, it attacks all enemies, but it does not, in fact, boost his turn meter. That means the A2 skill is not boosting the turn meter. What's the conditions for the turn meter boost? Let's check it out. So the conditions for that turn meter boost is AoE attack. Fill turn meter of 5% for each hit from an AoE attack. Okay? No turn meter boost. That means that the 6-piece is also not giving any boost to him. So he is only getting that extra damage from this skill as well as the AoE attack that he does from his passive. Is that a good amount of damage? Yeah, he's doing good damage. This is a well-built Thor. However, you're missing a lot of extra defense ignore. So you are getting it from this hit right here. That should boost your turn meter. Very good. But I definitely recommend champions like Thor be put into a Savage or Lethal set. Now, there is a potential argument to be made that you do have a very solid build with Slayer here. But if you can farm more Fire Knight, farm more Lethal, then you can move it over into Savage or Lethal, something along those lines. Now, do you need to move this immediately? No. Would I like for you to have a build that's like 280% crit damage, maybe like 6,000? Actually, let's see if we could do this right now. Just like some, actually, no. I want to go through some stuff and then we'll Theorycraft a little bit more. There's another champion though I want to talk about, and that's Sun Wukong. Now, Sun Wukong is a champion who is maybe debated. I mean, he's not going to get the extra defense ignore from the A2 skill. Everybody knows that. But this already ignores 50% defense. So this A3 skill is getting the defense ignore now, which is cool. So he does also have a 6-piece Slayer set on him. He's going to get the turn meter boost there, times 5, which is pretty cool. So he's a champion where already has built-in turn meter decrease. Sorry, not turn meter decrease. Already has built-in defense ignore. Would Savage or Lethal be much better for him? Yeah. It's going to make him ignore more defense on top of that A2 skill, make it hit super hard. But I understand a lot of you may be struggling with your gear and may not have plenty of defense ignore sets to throw around. So in this case, I think Sun Wukong actually makes probably more sense than Thor. Because Thor doesn't have any other built-in defense ignore, as far as I'm aware, does a lot of damage. And I think you could put a really good set on him. Plus he has a 4-star blessing, a 5-star blessing actually. Whereas Sun Wukong, 2-star blessing, limited gear other places. Also, 99% crit rate. I don't like that. But I think he, while being better in Lethal or Savage, is acceptable to be in Slayer. You may not notice as big of a difference switching him over as you would Thor with similar stats. The A2 skill will hit harder, though. And I definitely recommend putting him in something like Merciless, Lethal, Savage eventually. Now, moving through the rest of these suggestions, overall gearing is good, but you're going to want to work towards 9-piece sets. Now, not necessarily the full 9-piece stack, but working towards, 4-piece Stone Skin or 6-piece Stone Skin like on Ancora. I do want to get her rebuilt and saved as a preset. So let's actually do this. Right now. So preset manager, actually it's already saved. Sweet. So we're not going to use the optimizer at this point, but I want to go look at your accessories. I always like starting at the accessories because the artifacts I can work around and adjust. I got plenty of flexibility there. The accessories, not always the case. So here we have attack necklaces, which are not very good. Attack necklaces are useless, but it's okay to keep them in Stone Skin because sometimes the effect is better than the stats you're missing out on. So now we have 2 pieces at the bottom. I could go 4-piece Stone Skin to finish a 6-piece set for Stone Skin, or I could go 2 more pieces of Stone Skin and then go like a 4-piece of Relentless or a 4-piece of Swift Parry. He already has Swift Parry like this. This will be an instantly improved build if I just throw on the following thing right here. So let's see if the speed is prioritized. 6-star speed boots, looking for HP percentage. I want her to survive pretty well. But if not, let's just throw on these boots just for like an idea. Okay, maybe get a speed roll here. Speed is something amazing. Honestly, I roll my boots up to 12 and then just do one thing of oil to see if they hit speed. If they do, those are instantly so much better boots. But this right here, while we did lose a little bit of HP, that can be made up for in other areas. This alone, okay, we lost HP and defense. Not ideal. This can be taken up to 16 though. It's actually worth it. You'll boost your defense a little bit there from that boost. Plus this taken up. It'll be closer to those numbers once these get maxed out. I don't want to use a bunch of your silver doing this, but the 4 pieces of stone skin go in 240. Before, you're going to get blasted and die. Now, you're not going to get blasted because stone skin, you have your big shield from stone skin protecting you from the enemy. Now, you also have swift parry to prevent your death. But say you don't want to use a swift parry. Maybe you wanted to go 6 pieces of stone skin instead. I think either build is usable. I don't think there's one. Actually, I prefer the 6 pieces of stone skin personally because swift parry is a little bit more RNG. But you could also argue that stone skin is RNG as well if you're going against a strip team, right? But now we throw on some more stone skin with speed. Now we have 6 pieces of stone skin. So you have 2 turn stone skin. These are not the speeds I would actually go for, though. I would actually try for her to be 250 plus, and I also mentioned that in the notes down below. But 250 plus, pushing 100,000 HP. Let's see if the optimizer actually shows anything like that. So in Cora, let's say we wanted, honestly, I use her in 6-piece stone skin pretty fast, 100,000 HP, and she does very, very good. Let's go stone skin, 6-piece. Gotta end that call there. I don't want to take that just yet. Well, I ended up taking that call. Apparently, our mower, it was in the shop since December, like, I don't know, like almost a month now. I didn't really care because ain't no mowing happening in the winter. But they apparently been trying to reach me for a little while about, hey, delivering the mower. I guess I've been dodging the calls. Not necessarily intentionally, but honestly, I don't really care about when I get it back. We had some mice problems out in our building. So the delay is actually fine with me. Let's go into this in Cora and see if I can refresh this maybe and see what's going on here. Why is it not actually loading stuff up? I want to see what she could be in with 6-piece stone skin, even with like removing from everybody. We'd actually change these pieces as well. So there's quite a bit of changes I'd make to this build. For some reason, it's not loading on the optimizer. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Okay, whoa, no crit rate. Well, okay. Check that you have the extractor running. It is not working. Thank you for that update there. It was running, but then it wasn't. Not sure what's going on there. All right, here we go. We got the optimizer back up and running. Hopefully this works. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we're going to let this go through this Encore. Actually, we're just going to pause it. We'll see what this Encore build shows. 250, good HP, good defense. This is kind of a build I like. This is a build I really like, honestly. So 6-piece stone skin. We have some protection. Don't really care about that so much. It's just there for the extra speed. But these 6 pieces of stone skin, we have 90,000 HP. I'd rather it be 100,000, but after you do the ascensions on these, it should be pushing up to that level. Now, of course, it's changing gear from Mithrala and all these different champions, but I wouldn't go with this build specifically. I would be looking at your stone skin, because you have a lot of stone skin here that's not leveled up. I'd be looking at this stuff, leveling this stuff, spend some time cleansing your stuff, because you have a lot of pieces that are not good, but then a whole lot of pieces that are really good potentially. So HP percentage right here, like this is not being searched for in the optimizer. Maybe it goes a double or triple roll on the speed. I mean, stone skin, it's a 5-star. It's not great, but this is an HP percentage chest plate. I'm very lenient on what I sell with HP percentage in these special sets like this. Because, chest plates and gloves, they're just so good for support champions. HP percent outweighs defense percent almost every time. Not always, but 99% of the times, it's going to be just better going HP percentage. Defense has like a soft cap around 4,400, I think it is, where you're not really getting more damage mitigation from that point, and just going HP is better. There's other factors involved, but let's continue through this. So I mentioned the 9-piece sets and what I think is important. Mixing things like 4-piece stone skin plus pinpoint could be great. Nuker's getting 4 pieces of stone skin plus 4 pieces of a defense ignore set, 2 accessories. 2 artifacts, and then 4 pieces of savage or lethal or something along those lines. And then boosting support champion speeds while also in the sets. I already mentioned that as well. Everything else here is already went over. Now, as far as his account in general, I set some teams up in 3v3 as like examples for him to build and some ideas to work off of. But this is the breakdown for him. I'll just send this over to him, but more savage and merciless and lethal builds would be great. Make sure to farm Dark Fae. PvP support should be in Stone Skin or Pinpoint. And then champs to focus on her build. Noelle's really good. She has a short turn cooldown on her freeze/res. She cleanses a sheep. She can be built fast in Stone Skin. Honestly, a very solid champion. I like her a lot. Sigfried should definitely be put into a defense ignore set. It makes his A2 hit harder, and the A3 already ignores 50%, so ignoring some more is even better. So a merciless build on Sigfried could be awesome. I'm not as, hey, you have to go Stone Skin on Sigfried because he does have a block damage. You could throw a pinpoint set on him, a 4-piece of pinpoint. You could throw on 4 pieces of feral to go against bomb champions better. There's a lot of different things that you could throw into Sigfried and make it make a lot of sense. 6-piece merciless, all kinds of stuff. Definitely worth doing, definitely worth improving your Sigfried build because right now he has no extra defense ignore. Right now, I think his build leaves a lot to be desired, or leaves some to be desired. It's not bad as far as stats, but you'll definitely be hitting a lot harder if you can improve these. Now, when it comes to Chimera, I also recommend boosting him in speed because both the Arena and Sand Devil, which I'm going to talk about based on some teams that are already being ran, he's running much faster than what he currently is for this account. So it's kind of something with anybody's account. You have to weigh the pros and cons, okay? Your Chimera may be in your Doom Tower team at the moment, going slow to reset your champions after they all take a turn, or maybe it's in wave content, but maybe boosting him to be the first or maybe even second champion in the team will still serve a function and serve its purpose in these areas, but now you can use him in the Arena with a lot of success. Something worth considering there. I definitely think he's better, faster, but it could be different for whatever speed tunes you're running. Let me re-upload this HH Optimizer link. There we go. It's being a little bit weird at the moment. So Team Optimizer, there we go, and pop some teams up. So number of battles will go 86. Make a decent success rate, 92%. Something like this is probably what you're going to run, which is 2 fast Cold Hearts, Ruella. She's going to be pretty fast at 273, and then a fast Chimera. Getting Chimera to this speed or even faster, it's going to be very good for you. Now, of course, he can miss the sleep and the run fail. That's when the run fails, I do believe. But it is something that could happen. Everybody has pinpoint, I guess, for the speeds being boosted. That's pretty cool. Honestly, it's a pretty interesting team. So something you could try out. You may not be able to run Geomancer in Relentless with this team, not for sure. But this is a team that's being shown with the champions from your account. So I recommend running something like that. Honestly, you're missing Godseeker as well as Siphi, which makes teams much easier. So you are limited to, honestly, not a huge variety of teams for stage 25. That's the stage I would focus on. Stage 25 gives you the dust, and it's just so valuable. Now, when it comes to some other areas, let's take a look. Get Arbiter faster, worth dropping Swift Parry. So Swift Parry on the Arbiter is an interesting build, except you're missing out on a lot of speed by going Swift Parry. My thoughts are, if you're going first, then, well, hopefully you're just not dying. Hopefully you're killing them. But if they're going first because you weren't squeezing out a little extra speed because you have Swift Parry, well, now they have a chance of killing you. Yeah, you have a 50% chance to not be killed, but unless you were pushing like 380 speed with Swift Parry, I would not be going this, honestly, because 345, when you could be much higher, is the difference between winning or losing the speed race. And your Arbiter is not like in a go second build per se. She's in a fast build, so I would make her fast, honestly. Let's see if I can just not include, actually, let's just not include equipped artifacts at all. Once again, you have a lot of pieces not leveled, so coming in here and boosting this will probably be relatively easy, especially if you upgrade a lot of your pieces, see where your speed's at, get some righteous set boosts. 360, this is a point where, okay, 360, if that was your fastest, I wouldn't take her from Swift Parry in that point. I mean, so what, 15 extra speed, not a huge difference. But if you start including equipped artifacts and you see, okay, now I'm looking at 389 with no glyphs being placed. We have 2 quad rolls on people. I mean, this is a really good quad roll, actually a quintuple roll on Thor. So maybe he's worth locking. That is a really good piece, honestly. So we lock that piece. Now what can you get? 373. 373 is kind of a point where, let's see if we can upgrade it some more. I would like for you to be 380 plus, and then it really makes sense to swap it, because then you're actually being competitive with speed, and you're winning more of these speed races. 373. If you can get Swift Parry with more speed, like 360, you can chill with this for a little while, I think. But I just really like the idea of champions who are going to be in your go first teams being fast for your account and actually going first. If not, it just feels like you're missing out on a lot of potential easy wins in the arena, with the slight potential that, hey, maybe you survive their nuke and then you can res. That's what you're hoping for right now with this build, is to survive their nuke and then res, which I think adds a little bit more RNG than if you just went first and blasted them, just killed them, because you have the nukers to do so for sure. You definitely do. Now, when it comes to nukers and what the teams that you should build are, I'll show you what I've built, what the examples I put in here, and then what you have. So these are what you had. These ones, which are not bad. These are fine teams. These ones down here are the ones I put together, which, of course, are not going to be built how I would build them yet. But basically how they would work is this is going to be your speed team. Tshirt is there for the weaken and the manipulating the speed even more. She doesn't have to be there. It could be a Mikage. But Chimera, if he is boosted to about 310 speed, honestly about 300 speed, he's going to be speed tuned with Arbiter if she was 389, which she is not 389. You're able to boost the Chimera to like 305 speed or so. Then the Arbiter at 389, which is something you have to decide for yourself if you want to take those gloves off of Thor or not. I think they're really good gloves. I would be putting them on my speed champion most likely, just because they're honestly insane. There's a lot of speed. It's like a pair of boots right there. And it can make your Arbiter win so many more speed races. Speed tune your Chimera to that, have him with really good accuracy, and now all of a sudden your Tshirt can boost, which mostly she's here for the boost, but also the weaken. You could bring a Mikage. I would rather Mikage be faster than Chimera because she could give the increased accuracy to him, but it may be too much to ask from your speed gear. If not, bring her in there. It's not a problem. You could also go Madame Saris here for the decreased defense. Any champion's fine, but then Thor is going to nuke everybody. He has a very hard-hitting skill that should work out well. This one, I would have Armand's in Stone Skin, 4-piece, Mithrala in 4-piece Stone Skin, very high accuracy / resistance, Tormund in a 4-piece Stone Skin plus Savage or Lethal or Defense Ignore build. I want him to be able to have enough accuracy to place debuffs on like a speed team, but not so much accuracy that is taken away from his damage. So I want him in damage, Defense Ignore, and Stone Skin. And then Siegfried's there to just annihilate everybody. You have a buff strip from Armand's, so even against UDK teams, you should be fine. Siegfried can res if everybody's killed except for him. He can be in like a pinpoint plus Savage or Lethal, or some defense ignore. He's okay where he's at right now. You're going to get wins like this, but maybe even Stone Skin, if you can make it work. But something to prevent him from being just obliterated first thing. And then we have the bottom team, which is going to be Ancora for the res, 6-piece Stone Skin, or at least 4-piece. We have Freya, who she is in protection right now, which is okay. She could also be in Stone Skin, be very good. I know you probably use her in Chimera. And then Sun Wukong for a strip. Make sure that he is lower crit damage than He-Man, because you want Freya to boost him and give him an instant turn. And then Sun Wukong is going to be stripping, hopefully before He-Man. So make him faster than He-Man, but lower crit damage. He-Man gives himself increased attack. You don't have to worry about that. Sun Wukong can strip their increased attack in a go second team. That shouldn't be very difficult. Plus, he'll just res himself. So Ancora only needs to be resing He-Man or Freya. And Freya is going to protect the death anyways, so you get some cool interactions happening there. If Freya is fast enough, then she's even going to boost your turn meter, which is going to be pretty sweet also. So a few potential builds there. Stone Skin is going to be the common theme between a lot of these teams is, hey, get your champions in Stone Skin, 4 pieces specifically using 2 accessories, and then 2 top row, and then working other stuff. It's honestly just the way to build most champions in PvP, or honestly in a lot of areas in the game. It could be 4 pieces of Slayer, which I see you doing in your neck mode, which is really good. 4 pieces of Slayer mixed with some Curse set. Really mixing these 9-piece sets with the OG 4-piece sets is just so powerful. And honestly, what you should be striving for on most of your champion builds. Not all of them, of course. It doesn't make sense on all of them. But a lot of them, it's going to make a lot of sense. Like Tormund, he's in 4 pieces of Stone Skin, But he could also be squeezing some damage out as well. You have plenty of stats to work with here. Get a pair of crit rate gloves and Savage or something. Make him squeeze out even more damage. So that's the arena 3v3 stuff that I recommend. I wonder if I just threw these. Actually, no, there's not really much I can do with those teams right now because all the champions are built. Kind of curious to see how they would actually perform if we threw them in here. I do want to theory craft a few of these teams for you. This Arbiter is relatively fast, but in this setup, I would go this team versus this stuff. I would go Arbiter versus a team where Thor could actually nuke through, which may be this one right here. This is not speed tuned correctly, and this one at the top maybe, assuming these two can nuke through that stuff, which should be fine actually. Now this team, like I said, is not set up correctly, but the champions are built so they shouldn't just fall over instantly. It should be a pretty interesting setup though, honestly. So Wukong is here for the strip. We have him who can just ignore Stone Skin. Very, very nice. So he's built well. He's going to hit hard. I would actually consider throwing him into like a Life Harvest, especially at 5-star, because Life Harvest actually gives him a lot of turn meter whenever people get rezzed. And he's just getting turn after turn after turn. It's actually really cool stuff. Now, so Wukong is not going to get the defense ignore for this A2 from the Slayer set because he is just a single target hit, which is where having him in a Savage or Lethal would be so much more beneficial for him. Now, of course, we're going to try to blast the Python. It's the only person we can. Freya's actually really awesome. I kind of want to get my Freya built up. Very, very powerful champion, for sure. And then we have some Wukong blasting the Krisk. My wife texted me as well. What do I want for lunch? I don't know. I guess we'll figure it out in just a moment. So now we have Arbiter boosting. Yoshira's going to boost as well. You could have her speed tuned with Arbiter and then have Chimera go after if you wanted. It's definitely a viable option there. Have him strip. Well, he's way out of tune though, basically. What the heck? Yeah, so this is not going to be the best option. He went very slow. This is ignoring no defense. It still hits really hard because he's built well, but it's ignoring no defense, which is not great. Reset the cooldowns. Boost some turn meter some more. Give this Thor up. And then everybody dies, basically. So this team being speed tuned correctly would be better. Of course, Mithrala over there is going to make things as far as the strips very annoying. But Siegfried got hit. Didn't die because of the block damage. Comes in, gets his turn. And then we just kill everything, basically. He is built well. I do like his build. The lockout, not great. Also not a huge deal, because every time they boost, they have a chance of getting frozen. This team's great versus enemy speed teams that don't have like a Siphi, because Siphi is just going to place the block damage. Now, with that said, you could throw your Armons in some Supersonic plus Stone Skin. These are a little bit higher end builds, but against the Siphi, he will cut in, and then he's just going to strip the Siphi's buffs anyways. So it could be really cool. Unless, of course, she's in protection. It's not going to work out the same. But then you can make sense of Tormund being in there from the turn meter boost and all that kind of stuff. Like, he does so good against Arbiter teams, he just shuts them down. It's a very easy win versus these types of teams. And just a champion you should be building, if you haven't already, a Tormund for these situations. Specifically in damage, because he can hit pretty hard as well. So there we go. Pretty solid setups there. Now, let's move over to Hydra. Talk about Hydra setups. Full auto is the way to play. Now, with Hydra, we're going to want a Necmo for sure. Honestly, I don't want to go through and fully build all these teams because that's just not going to be the most time-effective thing to do. Let's see what's being shown here. Hydra rotation, doesn't really matter what rotation. I want to do it on all rotations. It's basically going to be a Necmo plus, actually, let's just not put it in the, we don't have to put it in the presets. We can do it here. Necmo, he'll go into a team. We need a decreased defense and weaken. Actually, we need a Shemale. So Shemale could be at the end. We like a res champion of some kind, I'm sure. Though you could do Mithrala and be okay as well. Let's just do this. Not put in the presets, but do it here. So Necmo, Shemale. If you're gonna go Thor, you kind of need a res champion because if not, he'll just kill himself. You could go Wukong for the block buffs. Lydia for decreased defense and weaken. You have increased attack on himself. Chimera be in the back. Doesn't really matter. He could be a mischief tank. You could use your other non 6-star blessing Chimera. He doesn't really need Crushing Rim because he ignores all defense anyways from this A2. I'd put him in Phantom Touch personally. Let's go other effects. Positive, a revive. A Molly would be awesome. Lady Noelle could actually be really good. That low cooldown the res, the big heal. Actually, she could be very solid. And Cora could be solid as well. Big shield, heal. We have decreased defense plus weaken. AoE decreased speed. We have increased speed plus decreased speed. Thor is just really good by himself. Like, he's just really good, period. What team does he have currently? Brutal. I don't know where his Nightmare 40 million. So just focus on survivability here, basically. We don't have increased attack for the Wukong. Not a huge deal, because Thor is going to be the powerhouse of damage. Building Wukong for damage is going to be very important, though, for sure. Your other top Hydra damage dealers. This team should do good. It definitely do 1 key on Nightmare. And Core is going to be lowering the cooldowns. Nekmo is going to be boosting your team. You're going to be going really fast. Having Wukong to be fast, even faster than this possibly. Just constant block buffs. Lydia doing the decreased defense and weaken. Am I missing anything, obviously? We have the Hex. We have the Hex from Nekmo if he's in a curse set. And then Lydia can be in a provoke set, placed in the provoke. She's in a curse set, or put Nekmo into a provoke set. One of these champions put into a provoke set. Nekmo would probably be better because he does always AoE hits. So put one into a provoke set. Granted, Lydia is also void affinity, so she's not going to weak hit, which would be good. Put one into a provoke set, one into a curse set. You're going to have the Hex and the provoke dealt with. Inquisitor Chimera could have a blood shield accessory on, potentially. And he could be mischief tanking, because he should have most buffs most of the time. Ancora could be a different res champion, if you wanted. Instead of Ancora, it could very easily be Lady Noelle. She has a big heal. This isn't going to do much, but this heal will be good, and this AoE res will be good too. Very low cooldown, so unlike some champions, she's going to get back around to that pretty quickly and can do the res. You could also go, I think her and Ancora is probably your 2 best reses for Nightmare. Now for Brutal, I'd go Ugo. I'd go Eostrid for sure. I'd go probably another Chimera. Well, definitely another Chimera. And then for damage dealers, your Newt is going to still do good on Brutal. He's not going to do as good on Hard as he would on Brutal. But honestly, I think Ninja version would be better on Hard because your Ninja's not a very high blessing, and Mikage there as well could be very good. Newt is going to be solid. You could do this team more so like survivable. We have Mithrala for the AoE stuff, the AoE, the shields and such. We have a Leech. No, she doesn't have a Leech. No Leech there. But she does have a heal from Terminator boost and such, which Inquisitor Chimera will be given. Mithrala's protection, having a decreased attack AoE from Newt, assuming you can make your Chimera a mischief tank. Because if not, then it's going to be stealing the counterattack. We want 2 blood shield accessories. Yeah, easy. 2 blood shield accessories. Though Mithrala may throw that off some because she's going to be putting shield on everybody. So definitely worth considering there. You could throw another res champion in for sure. Actually, Artak could be great. Artak, AoE HP burn, plus the... where is he at? Artak. Artak could do very well for you. AoE HP burn, plus a decreased attack, and an HP burn activation. Should do pretty good damage on Brutal. If we had more cleansers, we could go something a little bit different. Debating on the Mithrala, may not even need the increased defense there. It could be a Freya as well for a cleanse and a provoke AoE. Actually, Freya maybe just better. The cleanse and the provoke is the increased defense. It's all we really need because we just have Newt plus him. We already have increased attack. The shield's going to be good. You have all pretty tanky champions here. Nobody's going to like blow themselves up. No strip champion, unfortunately. But you should be okay as long as you can make him mischief tank. But this make Inquisitor Chimera really slow, and you should be fine. Of course, these are just theory-crafted teams. These may not actually work out great. And then for hard, since your champions are not super high as far as blessings go, I would definitely use Mikage plus Ninja. And then you have a Venus. And then your next best Hydra damage dealer. Honestly, Scored can put up some really good numbers. But we want some block debuff. Block debuffs. This was actually a really good champion for this, honestly. HP burn, decrease speed AoE. So he doesn't activate the burns, though, does he? So decrease speed, places burns, block buffs, and decrease speed, burns, and block buffs is really, really solid. We could use a Mithrala here. So this way we don't have to go a res champion. We have two cleansers who should be able to take care of the Head of Torment pretty well. Mischief Tank would be helpful, but I don't know if we can fit it here very easily. We need an increased speed champion, right? Yes, we do. So buffs, increased speed. These are options for increased speed. Go Razavarg for some really good damage, plus a leech as well. He can also put up some good numbers. He is a very solid champ. So something like this could do good and push up high numbers for you. You are running just like fast and furious with this team, though. You don't have a whole lot of stuff to protect you if they just blow you up. You do have the reduce cooldown or reduce durations of debuffs and increase your buff durations, and basically cleanses your team and reduces their buff durations. Really good stuff there from Mikage. And the Ninja's just going to pop off from Mikage's A1s, the A3 ally attacks, helping everybody else. Decreased defense. This should be a pretty good team for you, honestly. Provoke could come from a Provoke set on Venus. Definitely could. Because you already have Mithrala in there. I bet you she's in a Curse set. Yep. No, she's in a Provoke set already. Sweet. So something like this could be really good. Razavarg can pop off with damage. If your increased attack, you have everything there that you need. This could be a very solid team for you. Something like this is kind of what I would recommend. Of course, the builds are going to determine how successful this is or isn't. Supreme Gallic is awesome. Very good champion as well. The decreased speed is super cool. He does some pretty good damage, and he does activate HP burns. I wasn't for sure if he did or not, but he does. And boosts his turn meter. Void Affinity as well. Really solid champ. Instantly removes it, and then fully heals his champion and grants an extra turn. Okay, it's cool. So this is actually crazy good on Hydra. He's even better than what I remembered him being. So those are the Hydra teams that I would use. For Chimera, Chimera's honestly challenging. You do have some of the best champions, or some of the better champions, to actually just do it. We're in Chimera rotation 2. Ultra Nightmare, we'll try this out. Okay, yeah, there's not a whole lot of options. This is not a manual team. This is not a auto team. This is definitely a manual team. It's cool to see Ancora there, but Gwendolyn, I bet's in 9 pieces of Feral. Yep. So what you would be doing is probably looking for, let's see. Okay, I can't throw a team in there. You're doing this, though. It's not bad. Actually, this is basically what I would probably be recommending. Your Arbiter for the res stuff, plus turn meter boosting, Newt. I mean, this is actually pretty good. I would use that team for both of them. For hard, you want to do Whisper. That makes sense because lower difficulty, lower max HP. Actually, no. You have no Necmo there. Okay. I would definitely throw in Necmo for sure. Yeah, Necmo is going to be huge for trials and everything. I think the team you have can definitely scale up to Nightmare. But getting the 2 chests on Brutal is probably just more valuable, honestly, for you. Because Nightmare, you're not downing it yet. But Newt is huge. Freya is great for the cleanse. Lydia deals with the Viper form. Arbiter is turn meter boosting plus a res. I would just turn it off in the presets and then just manually do the res if you have to. It's an AoE res, so a little bit better. She's going to stop Newt from dying so easily. So yeah, this is a good team you have. I think I like this team a lot. And it should scale up pretty well. You just have to boost these speeds a lot. Eventually get a 9-piece Feral on Lydia. That'd be huge for her. For Chimera specifically. But there we go. So what I would recommend doing right now when you get your account back is coming in here and doing the following things at the bottom. Build champs for Curse City. Curse City is more merciless, more supersonic, very important. Reworking 3v3 teams with special sets. And honestly, just reworking champions in general and fitting them in these special sets and thinking about your Hydra builds with champions also being used in the arena and using those champions in your best builds. So best of luck in doing this stuff, Fuzzy. Hopefully you get some awesome builds out of this. Hopefully this helps you out with some direction in your account. You have really solid setups, honestly, really solid teams in general. Your dungeon stuff is not bad. I mean, these are fast teams. You have some, honestly, I'm surprised this is a minute 21 only. That's kind of cool though. I guess the Emic resets on wave 2, and then wave 3 you nuke the boss. Pretty cool. And then the event dungeon is the big thing I would focus on pushing. I did a video on that. You can just watch the video and figure it out or find out what to do there. Stage 6 is what I'd be farming. Stage 10 hard Fire Knight is actually, no, you can definitely do stage 10. What the heck? Yeah, so you have Thor. You actually have the exact team that I use, basically. You have Thor, Chimera. No Martyr though, right? Oh yeah, no Martyr. So you'd probably have to go actually, no, you do have Martyr. Get a soul for her and it's easy. Or get Mikage in here, and then it's also easy. Boom, done. This is your Fire Knight team. I do believe this can do it. You have to have your champions pretty fast. You have to have them open with the A1 of the boss, and then their other skills prioritized after that. But you can definitely do 10 hard with the champions you have. This Newt is just so good. Yeah, so Thor clears the waves, get to the Fire Knight, and then just let him take his turn, survive that first hit, and then have Padrig cleanse, Mikage ally attack, and then Newt open with, or actually Newt will probably be using the A1, hopefully. I'm actually probably just using A3 into the boss's shield. And then Thor goes, Padrig does his ally attack, but you could even go ally attack, and then Padrig cleanse, which may actually be better, because that way you actually break the shield, I do believe. And then Newt could use his A3 on the boss, Chimera resets, ally attack. Thor save his decreased speed for the boss, and you're good to go there. So hopefully that helps you out, gives you some ideas for new teams to work on, some new teams to build, and things to accomplish. Like I said, Curse City, very important. Merciless, very important. Work on this. This is your biggest, it should be a big focus for you. And then farming the dungeons I mentioned on the second page over here with the Fire Knight, Event Dungeon, Sand Devil, Spider. Sand Devil, it's going to be a little difficult to build a team for, but you can definitely do it. But thank you guys for watching this video. If you want to have an account takeover review done for you or any other service, click the link down below, get signed up, and we can get to going with it. Fuzzy Wuzzy, thank you for letting me do this for your account. Best of luck to everybody else, and I'll catch you all in the next one.